My name is Zack Newman, and I am the production manager for Dr. Rob Farms, formerly production and quality control manager for Spark in San Francisco and Sonoma counties. And I was introduced to the bucking machine by my colleagues at Spark, who saw it at the BizCon in Las Vegas and came back raving about it. And I immediately contacted the folks at MUNCH Machine, who were able to connect me with some of their clients. They were very helpful in doing so. And I got to get a live demonstration. And I was very impressed by what I saw. The crew of about 3 people was taking down a 30 light room of indoor grow with an efficiency that I hadn't seen before. So I knew that we really needed one for our operations at Spark. Immediately ordered one, and the dividends were immediate. We saw our labor costs reduced by half, on top of our harvest length being reduced by half. So we had half the crew, and on top of that, half the time spent harvesting, which as quality control manager is extremely important in capturing the optimal ripeness of the bud. We wanted to max out the terpene profile and the THC and all that stuff, and the longer the harvest drags on, the more of that quality you lose. And getting it chopped down and bucked down into that drying, cool and dry environment is extremely important. So we loved, how fast we were moving through the harvest and able to reset our rooms, and the fact that it reduced our labor costs so efficiently as well. And when we moved to our large farm in Sonoma County, I knew that the first piece of equipment that I had to order was going to be one of the bucking machines. And our first harvest there, we actually had 2 machines going. We had the one from San Francisco plus our new one, and that was by far the best harvest I've ever experienced. I've been doing this for about 7 years now, and still think of that harvest as the most fun and the most efficient that I've ever run. It was several acres of light depth hoop houses, and we were able to run through easily 3 houses a day, and no one's ever had more fun, running the machines and doing this kind of thing than we had during that time last summer. It was just the speed with which you can process the buds is kind of mind-boggling. You have 2 people running each machine, standing side by side, going back and forth, feeding the machine. And having 2 machines and twice the capacity is just ideal, basically. We were stacking trays. We basically would buck the buds, put the buds in the trays, stack them up, and that saved us a huge amount of space, which, when we're operating in San Francisco, obviously is very important, as real estate there is quite expensive, and we didn't have the largest dry space. And when we're in Sonoma County, it was equally important because it's hard to cool such a large space. We were drying in a barn and sectioned off, and having the stacks and having the ability to kind of move around the best airflow with the stacks instead of having kind of rigid hanging sections was extremely beneficial. And now that we're opening 3 parcels with Dr. Rob Farms, each parcel is going to have at least 1 bucking machine. Ideally, it would have 2 for each site, as I can't really imagine harvesting without these machines, especially on the scale that these are going to be. Each site about 30,000 square feet of canopy, and there's just no way to move through that volume of harvest and dry that volume of material in an efficiently sized space without a machine like the Mother Bucker bucking machine. It's fun to use. People love using it. It's impressive to watch. It's extremely easy to clean. It takes about 5 minutes at the end of the day, 10 minutes maybe, when you're doing all your other cleanup and sweeping and wipe downs and all that kind of stuff at the end of the day. And I can't recommend it highly enough if you have a large operation, if you need to improve your harvest times, if you need to find a more efficient way to buck down your buds, look no further than the Mother Bucker bucking machine.